Yes, students, another important short notes from carbohydrate metabolism. The topic is diabetes mellitus, right? What are all the metabolic changes, metabolic alterations, or metabolic disturbances in diabetes mellitus? This is about general question, not like type 1, type 2 diabetic ketoacidosis. Generally, they are asking what are all the metabolic changes produced in diabetes mellitus. Okay. So we know that diabetes mellitus means the problem is deficiency of insulin, simultaneously increased amount of glucagon, increased secretion of glucagon, right? So this deficiency of insulin and increased glucagon will produces three effects in our body. All the three metabolism will get affected. Number one, carbohydrate metabolism. Number two, amino metabolism. Number three, lipid metabolism. So how it will get affected? Very simple. In carbohydrate metabolism, in amino acid metabolism, in lipid metabolism, due to the deficiency of insulin and excessive secretion of glucagon, what are all the changes occurs, right? So in carbohydrate metabolism, the first problem is decreased amount of glucose uptake or intake. So due to the insulin deficiency, the receptors are not able to pick up the insulin. That is why the muscle or wherever tissue not able to pick up the insulin. So glucose uptake will be decreased, right? This leads to, because glucose is not available properly, so glycolysis is inhibited whereas gluconeogenesis is stimulated. This is the first point. Because of the deficient amount of glucose, the glycolysis will be suppressed whereas gluconeogenesis will be stimulated, right? That leads to hyperglycemia. Then this hyperglycemia, because glucose is present in enough amount, because of the insulin deficiency, they are not able to properly metabolize. So hyperglycemia. This hyperglycemia produces glucosuria or glycosuria. We know the definition of glycosuria. The renal threshold value is up to 180 milligram. After excess amount of 180 milligram, the glucose will get excreted in urine. So glycosuria or glucosuria. This glucosuria, what happens is, produces osmotic diuresis, right? Because of this osmotic diuresis only, they will go for dehydration. In this dehydration, they will go for water depletion and electrolyte depletion. This osmotic diuresis produces polyuria. This water and electrolyte depletion produces polydipsia. Because you are passing more amount of urine means automatically you will go for your stimulation, thirst center will be stimulated and you will go for polydipsia. Thirst center is stimulated, right? All these changes leads to coma and finally sometimes death also occurs. So this is regarding carbohydrate metabolism, right? The important point is hyperglycemia produces glycosuria, produces osmotic diuresis. They will go for dehydration, coma and death. And coming to the lipid metabolism, this glucagon increased is the first line of action is increased lipolysis from adipose tissue. So adipose tissue will be stimulated and produces increased lipolysis, which releases free fatty acids, excess, high amount of free fatty acid. Oxidation of these fatty acids will produce always acetyl-CoA, more number of acetyl-CoA. Here the problem is diabetes mellitus, insulin is less, glucagon is more, so this acetyl-CoA is not properly enter into TCA cycle for the purpose of energy production, right? So the TCA cycle will be blocked. So at this scenario, the excess acetyl-CoA will enter into ketogenesis, that is production of ketone bodies. That is why free fatty acids excess leads to increased oxidation of fatty acids. They will go for increased ketogenesis because of the excess amount of acetyl-CoA. Finally, they will go for diabetic ketoacidosis. then they will go for the same coma and death. Very, very emergency and dangerous condition. Right? This is regarding lipid metabolism. The extra 2 points for lipid metabolism is, in this mechanism, the non-essential fatty acids, TAG and cholesterol also will go for excess amount and produces hyperlipidemia. Right? Next one point is, because of the deficiency of insulin, the important enzyme, that is lipoprotein lipase, is also decreased. What is the role of lipoprotein lipase means? It will be the essential for the degradation compound for the VLDL. VLDL is one of the important lipoprotein for the synthesis of LDL, that is very low density lipoprotein and low density lipoprotein. So this lipoprotein lipase is very, very important for the degradation of VLDL. Due to the deficiency of insulin, this lipoprotein lipase also will be deficient. So the VLDL level will get elevated. That produces more number of LDL. They will go for hypertriglyceridemia. So what is the reason for hypertriglyceridemia? What is the reason for hyperlipidemia? What is the reason for increased ketogenesis? All coming under lipid metabolism. Okay. The third one is amino acid metabolism. So because of the deficiency of insulin and excess glucagon, proteolysis will take place, that is degradation or catabolism of protein. They will be releasing more number of amino acids. That amino acids will go for gluconeogenesis because there is deficiency of glucose also. Sometimes increased number of nitrogen also present in urine and plasma. So increased nitrogen loss. These reactions altogether go for the patient muscle wasting and weight loss. Because of this muscle wasting only, they will go for polyphagia. That is why all the diabetic patients are having polydipsia, polyuria and polyphagia. What is the mechanism of polyphagia? Because of the amino acid deficiency, they will go for muscle wasting and weight loss that leads to polyphagia. So these are all the three mechanisms involved in metabolic changes of diabetes mellitus. Okay.